Frankie Russo over here, 77 WABC. Yeah, pre-show. This is we got a lot of stuff here. It's gonna be great. So let's do this. Before we do it, remember, I haven't stopped, I ain't stopping. Let's help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. According to all the statistics I've been hearing, like our men and women in the United States Armed Forces are committing like at a rate suicide at a rate of 22 a day. This is crazy. We got to do something about this. We got to do something about this. We got to, please, it's slow. frusso14 at AOL.com. Send me an email if you want to help. Let's help America's team. Let's help America's team help. Got it. The men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Let's do this. Russo, FRUSSO 14 at AOL.com. That's what I'm talking about. And then the model, we're starting off with it. Fraudulent sector service card, Obama, Clinton Foundation, Iranian Global Terror Network, Iranian surrogates. Crazy. Really crazy. So let's start. I got some articles. We're going to go through them. Alrighty. This I got today. France burkini photos. So they got these burkinis. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm not down with the burkini thing. I like bikinis. I don't like burkinis. With all due respect. I was looking at that burqa. They got to outlaw the burqa. Outlaw the burqa, man. Outlaw the burqa. I don't care. Outlaw it. It's inhumane. It's against women. I'd outlaw it. Okay, interesting. I'm going to talk about this right now because this is good. And I'm probably going to bring this to the live show because this is something that we got to do. Some voting happens well before Election Day, according to Reuters. Voters in tightly contested North Carolina have seen the presidential candidates and their surrogates a lot this summer. What helps make the state such a political hotspot is that voting begins there before anywhere else. Election officials begin mailing ballots September 9th to any registered voter in North Carolina who formally requested one. Okay, North Carolina, that's the earliest in the country, 60 days before November 8th, the general election. A few other battleground states start mailing absentee ballots 2 weeks later. An array of states follow with differing forms of early in-person voting in the campaign's final weeks. It's for that reason that North Carolina provides campaigns with an early test, mailing it in. People don't have to give a reason to vote by mail in North Carolina, such as out-of-town election day traveling or being too sick to leave the house. A little over 200,000 mailed ballots were collected in 2012, which amounted to less than 5% of the state's 4.5 million voter turnout. Republicans historically have favored mail-in ballots, could be critical to win the state's 15 electoral votes. Republican Mitt Romney won the state by 92,000, and Obama won it by 14. Still in court, getting more attention in North Carolina is the early in-person voting the state offers in all 100 counties. It's widely popular. 56% of the votes for November 2004 were cast at early voting centers and county election centers over a period of 17 days. Democrats generally favor this form of in-person, no excuse absentee voting. Interesting. Republican-led legislator and GOP Pat McCrory reduced the period to 10 days in 2013 law that also mandates photo identification to vote. The Voters' Civil Rights Justice sued last month struck down the photo ID mandate and ordered early voting restored to 17 days. The public notice said the elements of that overturned voter ID heightened the possibility for a rigged election. The state asked for the Supreme Court to delay the ruling, otherwise early voting will begin October 20th. Now, the Supreme Court doesn't delay their ruling because they brought it back to 17 days instead of 10. The early voting in North Carolina will be October 20th. While more days are now required for early voting, local election boards, and this is in North Carolina, while more days are now required for early voting, local election boards, each with Republican majorities, are considering whether to cut back the number of early voting sites. Georgia, so here's one, so we got this one. I'm not going to go with that one. I'm going with this one. This is one. This is two. And Georgia, election officials begin mailing absentees September 20th, followed by Wisconsin September 22nd, Virginia September 23rd, Michigan the following day, the 24th. Iowa begins the 29th, and Pennsylvania, Ohio, Colorado, Nevada, and New Hampshire start in October. I got to get the date. Planning ahead, I got to get the date for those three states. Planning ahead. In addition to North Carolina, early in-person vote is permitted in some form by 35 other states and the District of Columbia. Among the battleground states, Iowa opens early voting at September 29th, followed by Ohio, October 12th, Georgia, October 17th, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and New Hampshire don't have early in-person voting. 3 states, Oregon, Washington, and Colorado, mail ballots to all registered voters, but Washington and Colorado also allow the option of voting early. So I got to get these dates before I go on here live. All right, so that's what's going on with this. This is important. Colin Powell says Hillary Clinton's people have been trying to pin email scandal on him. So another Hillary Clinton lie. Another one, another lie. Oh, this is interesting. Now India asked Pak to extradite global terrorist Dawood Ibrahim. After the UN confirmation of Dawood Ibrahim's addresses in Pakistan, the central government said that it was incumbent upon Islamabad to extradite the global terrorist who has for long been provided sanctuary by Pakistan, calling Pakistan the prime perpetrator of terrorism. India said it could only have a result-oriented dialogue with Islamabad aimed at vacation of territory that Pakistan continues to hold illegally in D&K. Besides the fact that Dawood's Pakistan addresses have been verified, the foreign ministry said other records have been also added in his listings, such as his wife's name, father's name, and several of his aliases. Dawood Ibrahim continues to remain on the designated list as a global terrorist. The 1,267 monitoring committee continues to retain his Pakistani passport as a valid document. The UN has also confirmed that he resides in and has properties in Pakistan, and the UN continues to keep a regular watch on him. Yeah, okay. Right, I believe you, UN. So that's that. Why did I bring that up? Well, I'm leading to something in a minute, so I'm going to just keep reading it. Okay, Pakistan, friend or foe in the fight against terror. The Long War Journal. This is Bill Roggio, Chairman Poe and Chairman Salmon, ranking members of the Keating and Sherman and other members of the committee, they're speaking about Pakistan and its support for terrorist groups that threaten the security of the United States and its allies. The committee rightly asked the question of whether Pakistan is a friend or a foe in the fight against terrorism. While Pakistani officials and forces have assisted the United States in hunting senior al-Qaeda figures at times, Pakistan's overall strategy is pro-jihadist and therefore puts in the foe category. Pakistan doesn't battle some terrorist groups within its borders, but it also does battle some terrorist groups within Israel, but it also does so because these groups pose a direct threat to the state. Pakistan supports a host of terrorist groups in Pakistan, Afghanistan, India to further its goals in the region. Pakistan backs these groups despite the fact they are aligned with and aid the very terrorist groups that fight the Pakistani state. In addition, many of these radical Islamists sponsored by Pakistan are allied with al-Qaeda. So there's another one. Long War Journal. I'm not going to go into all of it, but it's good stuff. Long War Journal. I think this is Tom Jocelyn, if I'm not mistaken. The U.S. Department today designated two Pakistani radical Islamists as global terrorists. Jamaat al-Dawa al-Quran, JDQ, and Tariq Jidar Group, TGG, have been sanctioned, meaning Americans are generally prohibited from engaging in any transactions with these radical Islamists. The JDQ, Jamaat al-Dawa al-Quran, which is based in Pakistan, Eastern Afghanistan, have long-standing ties to al-Qaeda and Lashkar-e-Taiba. Now, JDQ, Jamaat al-Dawa, which is known as there's like aliases to this. But what's really interesting is, in January 2000, this will give you an idea, the JDQ, Jamaat al-Dawa, this is the group that's been sanctioned by they're sanctioned as terrorists. And it prohibits Americans from engaging in any transactions, like the Clinton Foundation engaged with the Islamic Republic of Iran with the 650 Fifth Avenue. They engaged. They took money, they didn't give it back, and it's going to come out that the Clinton Foundation is a charitable fraud. It's out there. There's people that actually done the extensive research, that have seen the documents. The JDQ, because now if the Clinton Foundation entity is illegal, wow. JDQ pledged an oath of office. That's why, I got my beefs with the mainstream MSM, mainstream media, because nobody's talking about it. They're just harboring on these pay for play. And there's, if you listen to everybody, well, it's like, we're out there, we're putting it on Hillary Clinton, and rightly so, because the Clintons deserve it, but it doesn't put them away. They keep them alive. They don't go after the goods. You're waiting for an indictment? We don't need an indictment. This is the courtroom of American public opinion. The MSM controls it. They're powerful in the courtroom of American public opinion. Look what they do with the polls, right? Fraudulent polls, fake polls, polls like the Reuters poll is fake, has been deemed fake by Pat Cadell, and it's my understanding, according to Pat Cadell and other experts, that the Reuters poll, dictates the pace of the other polls, dictates the outcome of could dictate the outcome of the other polls. It could have actually influenced them. So JDQ pledged an oath of allegiance to the Taliban, Omar Mullah at the time. That pledge was accepted by the Taliban, and it's unclear if the JDQ, Jamaat al-Dawa, renewed its oath after Omar died and will pledge again in the wake of the May 21st airstrike of, we spoke about him, Supreme Leader Mullah Mansour. But this is the kind of stuff that's going on with Pakistan. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I just want to lay some of this stuff down, lay this stuff out. Now, there was a release of like 15 detainees from Gitmo, and one of them was this guy, alleged agent of Iran, transferred from Gitmo to UAE, the United Arab Emirates. Now, only God knows what kind of money they got to accept these, because Obama, he's in all likelihood and all probability, the Obama-Clinton crime family, which is up here at 77 WABC. We've been cultivating the data. We've been massaging the data and looking at it from different angles. And I'm telling you, there is no way, we're close here. We are within the realm of statistical significance, a quasi model that we have here. Judges' decisions, court papers, judges' decisions. We got peer-reviewed journal articles. We got open source, well-researched articles, and it supports the contentions that the Obama-Clinton administration is a criminal enterprise within a courtroom of American public opinion, and we believe that's statistically significant. And if that is statistically significant, then the Obama-Clinton crime family is conceivably, in all likelihood and all probability, fronting for radical Islamists. They are radical Islamists. They are ISIS. They are. Now, they released this cat, like, remember Hirula? We spoke about Hirula. He goes all the way back to Iran. He was an Afghan Taliban with the Bergdahl trade. He goes all the way to Iran, former Taliban governor of the Herat province, and from the DOD, unclassified documents, the New York Times, we have Hirula being friendly, very close to Karzai, the Afghan president. Really interesting, right? And it came out that Karzai was taking money back, because it's in his Wikipedia. I don't have clear and convincing sources, but then I came up with one. In his Wikipedia, he's a terrorist financier. And then I found the article that was from Reuters, but Reuters took it off its website. Took it off its server? Why I'm not shocked. And I got it from the Guardian that he was receiving money bags of hundreds of thousands of dollars from Iran. Iran, the world's largest state sponsor of terror. But maybe they're claiming that conceivably there's another group that may be closer as well to being the largest. I'm going to talk about them tonight. They released this cat, Hamadullah, Haji Hamadullah is conceivably an alleged agent of Iran, according to Foundation of Defense of Democracy's Thomas Jocelyn. And he supposedly has these ties, according to Thomas Jocelyn, these ties to Iran, and he was released as part of the 15 that were released to the UAE. Conveniently done? Well, I don't know. We're going to track that. We'll find out. Now, here's interesting. Now, this is where I part of my thing and what's going on with me today. One of the things I'm contemplating talking about, because there's this thing with. For some reason, it's not there. So I'm going to do this before we get to this article. I'm going to do this. David Chase, Pakistan. Okay, let's see what comes up. David Chase, Pakistan. Here it is. Okay, now. Right, this guy, I don't know much about this guy. Right, I don't know much. Right. I don't know much about this guy. I don't. Let's see what's about this guy. I don't know who this guy is. David Chase. But I found an interesting website. And let me see. David Chase. Let me just do it. Let me see a Wikipedia on this guy, David Chase. Let me do a Wikipedia on this guy, David Chase. Wikipedia. We're going to get to this in a second. I just want to see this guy for a second before we use him. No, that's not him. He's Swiss. Swiss. He's in asylum. I don't know who this guy is. David Chase, Wikipedia. Let's see. Who is this guy? He's a nuclear terror whistleblower journalist, has been denied political asylum in Switzerland. Okay, so he's a whistleblower, a nuclear terror whistleblower. So that's who this guy is. All right, so I found his information. Now, okay, good. So we have time. We're not gonna get off till 12:30. All right, we're live. Okay, good. Now, Pakistan. This is my concern. Now I'm going into Pakistan. I fell off my chair this week. I do a lot of research every day. I'm always online. I'm not saying everything I find is true or it's not true or whatever. I don't know. I'm always looking and searching to find clear and convincing data to support what I believe to be the case, that Iran is the global terror network of the world, and they materially support, and they've obliterated, according to the model up here at 77 WABC, they've obliterated the Sunni Shia divide that everybody, that's it's my understanding that's real, but the Iranian global terror network and their surrogates, the Iranian surrogates, obliterates the Sunni Shia divide, so much so that conceivably, I'm still trying to put it together. I believe ISIS is not, the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria is not a Sunni militia, but conceivably it may be argued with some statistical significance that it can be construed that ISIS is a Sunni Shia militia, maybe. So I'm still working on that. But anyway, so while I was doing all that, I ran into this thing because I was watching this documentary and I found out about this guy, A.Q. Khan. A.Q. Khan, that's his intelligence name. His name in the world, well, he's out of the game right now, but his name in the world is Abdul Qadir Khan. He is considered, Time magazine and in the open source world, as the father of Pakistan's nuclear program. And he got it to the point where he became such a big player, he became the leading proliferator in aiding the proliferation of nuclear proliferation in North Korea and Iran. So I started to think, he's from Pakistan. I started to say, you know what? Romney Youssef, the major proliferator. What's up, my brother?
Hello.
I'm in the middle of my pre-show.
Your pre-show. Are you on the air?
I'm on the live stream.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Russ, great seeing you. Could you give me, at 12:30, I'll come say hello.
Cool.
God bless you, my brother.
Bless you.
Okay. So that was Russ DeBello. He's my board op for tonight. And he was my first board op over here at 77 WABC 3 years ago. It's crazy stuff, So getting back to the subject, it's crazy. I love this place. I do. I really do. It is what it is. It's highly political, and I'm not gonna get into the politics up here because I don't know all of it. But it's a great place. It's an iconic place, and I'm honored to be able to work up here. But okay, that being said, so this is what I was talking about now. So Romney Youssef was the 1993. He was convicted of being a major perpetrator in 1993 World Trade Center bombing, right? And he's from Pakistan. So I searched them. No connection. Then I found out that I knew his maternal uncle was Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was considered one of the masterminds of September 11, 2001. And he's from Pakistan. I did a 3 search, nothing. So then what I did was I read that article from the Time magazine, the man who sold the bomb. Time magazine is called The Merchant of Menace. Time magazine. And the president at the time was Musharraf, Parvez Musharraf, four-star general. It's really crazy, you know. Because this goes to the Korzai Karula, the Afghan Taliban governor connection, and Korzai getting hundreds of thousands of dollars from Iran. Uh, that's what that goes to. So now I'm looking at Pakistan because we got Iran, we got Afghanistan, and we got Pakistan. They're all on the border of Iran. So from there, I found some interesting articles. So Musharraf, who worked very closely with Bush, and they were very concerned. They were communicating, according to the Time magazine article, they were communicating. Bush and Musharraf were communicating regularly, very concerned about A.Q. Khan, the father of Pakistan nuclear technology, nuclear program. So this is what I found out. Now, I'm not going to get into Kashmir because it was a big thing with Kashmir. I think Kashmir is in India, if I'm not mistaken, part of India, and there was a big war on it. I'm not going to get into that thing right now. I just found out through some articles that in the 1990s, the freedom struggle began in Kashmir. Now, former President Musharraf, who was close to A.Q. Khan, Abdul Qadir Khan, the father of Pakistan's nuclear program, said that this is according to Greater Kashmir, that Musharraf said that Pakistan supported and trained terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba in the 1990s as they fought in the Kashmir at the course of their lives. So he worked with this AET, which was designated the United States Treasury Department as a terrorist entity. In the 1990s, the freedom struggle began in Kashmir, and at the time, Lashkar-e-Taiba, LET, and 11 other fighting organizations were supported in Musharraf supported them, trained them, and they were fighting in the Kashmir at the course, according to Musharraf, in an interview with the Duya News. The former army chief, who became the president of Pakistan, said that the religious militaries were started by Pakistan, which brought militants from all over the world to fight against Soviet forces. He said in 1979, Pakistan was in favor of religious militancy. He said, we trained Taliban, sent them to fight against Russia. Taliban, Haqqani, these are all terrorist groups. Osama bin Laden and Zawahiri, who were the leaders of Al-Qaeda, were our heroes, according to Musharraf. This is Musharraf now, the president of Pakistan. Now, in this other article I found, the historycommons.org, the future Pakistani president promotes Taliban and Kashmiri militant groups. And once again, it just goes through showing that, as I said earlier, he's supporting all of these radicalisms under the guise of fighting the war, the Kashmir war. I don't want to go into the details of the Kashmir conflict, but what I'm focusing on is that it's not like you're from Avenue U, and at the time in the 1940s and the 50s in Avenue U, Brooklyn, and you knew some gangsters that lived over there. You knew them, you knew their names. This guy didn't know their names. He knew them personally. He knows them personally. He trained them. He supported them. This is the president of Pakistan. Crazy stuff, right? Now, before I get further into this, I just want to hit this now. This is David Chase. I don't know much about this guy, but he's supposed to be a nuclear terrorist whistleblower. According to David Chase Taylor, the nuclear he's like, I guess, like WikiLeaks. I don't know much about this guy. I just found this, and I'm just going to throw it out there at this point, and I'm going to try to find out more information, more data to support this whole thing, to see if there's anything out there to support it. David Chase Taylor has this nuclear Bible book, and he reveals how Pakistan, whether they know it, whether they've been linked to every single major terror attack against the West over the last 20 years. The Pakistani government, its ISI, I guess that's its intelligence agency, Osama bin Laden, and terrorist groups within Pakistan have allegedly plotted, financed, and executed numerous terrorist attacks. Now, major terror attacks like New York's 9/11, there was an attack in London's July 7th. Meanwhile, since 9/11, 7,000 plus terror attacks have been executed within Pakistan. So I'm not, sure how accurate, but this is interesting. He lists them: World Trade Center, global terror events allegedly related to Pakistan. The 1992 World Trade Center bomb, we mentioned it. Ramzi Youssef. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, a Pakistani citizen, maternal uncle of Ramzi Youssef, was alleged advisor and financier of 1993 World Trade Center bombing. Mohammed was arrested March 1st, 2003 in Pakistan. The assassination attempt, the Benazir assassination attempt of the then Pakistani by Ramzi Youssef and Abdul Hakim Murad in 1993. Ramzi Youssef is serving, just for the record, a dual lifetime prison sentence. Dual. For 9/11 and the Philippine Airlines Flight 434. Ramzi Youssef he's Pakistan. The Bojinka terror plot was planned by Ramzi Youssef, Pakistan. The U.S. airliner bombing plot of 1995 was attempted by Ramzi Youssef. The U.S. Embassy bombings was a series of attacks consisting of simultaneous truck bomb explosions at the U.S. embassies in East Africa, Tanzania, Nairobi, Kenya, and Dar es Salaam. Killed 223. Interesting. 5 allegedly killed in Pakistan: Osama bin Laden, Muhammad Ahmed Ali, Fahid Mohammed Masalam, Sheikh Hamid Salim, and Mushin Musa Atwa. USS Cole bombing. This was done by Mohammed bin Atash, was alleged a terror suspect in a terror attack which was allegedly arrested in Pakistan in 2003. Millennium terror attack, 2000 terror attack was planned to occur in January 1st, 2000. Bombings of 4 sites in Jordan and where Al-Qaeda Abu Sabida in Pakistan was in charge of the terrorist training camps funded and organized by bin Laden. The 9/11, we talked about Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. The attacks were allegedly masterminded by Obama's son, who was killed in Pakistan. General Mawad Ahmed, head of Pakistan's Inter-Services Intelligence, wired $100,000 before alleged. This is interesting. Before the 9/11 attacks to Muhammad Atta. it's been rumored that that Osama bin Laden met with Muhammad Atta in Prague. That's the internet conspiracy theory. Indian Parliament terror attack 2001. High profile terror attack in the Parliament of India. Parliament. It's late at night. Which killed and injured 18 in New Delhi, India. And this guy, Daesh-e-Mohammed, is a Pakistani militant Islamic group. The shoe bomber of Flight 63 was the main suspect in the failed attempt. In December 22nd, 2001, Reed allegedly spent 99 and 2000 in Pakistan. The guy, Richard Reed, he's anti-American religious training center in Lahore, Pakistan. Peshawar, and I mean, this is amazing. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, a Pakistani citizen, confessed to a role in bombing, was arrested in Pakistan in March 1st, 2003. Beheading of Daniel Pearl. It's amazing to me. You got the U.S. bank terror plot. You got the Bali terror attacks. You got the Madrid terror attacks, the London terror attacks, the Delhi terror attacks, the 18 Varashni terror attacks, Ontario terror attacks, Mumbai terror attacks, Hyderabad terror attacks, assassination attempt of President Bhutto, the 2008 Mumbai attacks, where the attackers were members of the Lashkar-e Taiba, a Pakistani militant group. Indian Embassy CIA attack on a camp. The CIA's forward was killed 10, which killed the Pakistani Taliban allegedly claimed responsibility for the attack. You believe it? The suicide attack against the CIA, Pakistani. Why am I going through this? Assassination of bin Laden, alleged head of Al Qaeda was allegedly assassinated in Pakistan. The military bombing, the Kabul bombings in 2011, the U.S. and NATO headquarters attack in 2011. And then Pakistan accepts Chinese nuclear proliferation in 1982. Pakistan begins nuclear smuggling operations with AQ Khan. Pakistan tests nuclear bomb in 98. Pakistan sells nuclear secrets to North Korea in 98. Pakistan proliferates nuclear technology to Syria. China sanctions Pakistan over nuclear tests in 98. I mean, this is, I'm not saying everything here is true. I don't know. But quite frankly, Pakistan fires nuclear-capable missile in 2011. Pakistan sells nuclear technology to Iran and Iraq in 2010. I know that AQ Khan, Abdul Qadir Khan, received millions of dollars from Iran to help them become proliferators. And that was that I talked about this week, the P1s with the centrifuges, and they upped it to the P2s, and then they got whacked mysteriously. The P2s, the centrifuges got whacked. And I'm not going to talk about that, but that's what happened. Just as to give you an idea, this David Chase, what he came out with. Now, I'm not saying this is significant. I'm not sure yet, but this is interesting. He's like the Julian Assad WikiLeaks guy, but he's the nuclear terror whistleblower. So why am I bringing this up? Because I went to the nctc.gov website, and for world state sponsor of terror, we have Syria, Iran, and North Korea. No mention of Pakistan. Why not? Why isn't Pakistan a designated world state sponsor of terror if conceivably this data is pretty accurate? It just doesn't make sense to me. Because we have AQ Khan, the father of Pakistani nuclear program, receiving millions of dollars from Iran, next door neighbor. Musharraf, I haven't seen an actual direct connection yet with Musharraf and Iran, but he's very close to AQ Khan, AQ Khan because the United States is very concerned about was very concerned about. Obviously, he's out of commission now, but and it's come out that Musharraf conceivably, which I believe we're close. I'm getting more information, more data, so we'll see how. I think it's close to significance that he's committed to training the Taliban and the likes of Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri from Al Qaeda, the two Al Qaeda leaders at the time, calling them heroes in the Kashmir conflict. So he knows these radical Islamists, as Karzai knows these radical Islamists. Guarantee you, with statistical significance, the Obama-Clinton crime family, with in all likelihood and all probability, is fronting for radical Islamists. I'm telling you, Obama, I believe, with much statistical significance, conceivably, I don't know one yet, but I believe Obama knows them personally. Gotta watch this. Qatar buys a piece of the Empire State Building. Qatar, according to Congressman Lamborn from Colorado, claims that Qatar is a safe haven for terror financiers. And I speak about this one cat every other week. Al Numani. He's a Qatari national. He gave millions of dollars, according to U.S. Treasury Department press releases. He gave millions of dollars weekly to Al Qaeda in Iraq, ISIS. And he's also given money to hundreds of thousands of dollars to Yassin al-Suri. Yassin al-Suri, because of the drone strikes, we whacked Mushin al-Fadali, who was the Al Qaeda, according to Tom Jocelyn, Long War Journal, he was the Al Qaeda Iran facilitator in the Sahadan city of Iran. So that's a Sunni Shia militia, okay? That's the Sunni Shia militia that's running around. So Qatar goes all the way from the Persian Gulf all the way to Iran. So that's what's really crazy. Obama administration won't tell Congress how it paid $1.3 billion in taxpayers' funds. The Obama administration is withholding from Congress details about how $1.3 billion in U.S. taxpayer treasury funds were delivered to Iran, according to conversations with lawmakers. The Department of State, Treasury, and Justice Departments have all rebuffed the congressional probe into the circumstances surrounding the $1.3 billion payment to Iran, which is part of an additional $400 million cash payout that occurred just prior to the release of several U.S. hostages and led to the accusations that the administration had paid Iran a ransom. The Obama administration has admitted that the $400 million cash delivery to Iran was part of an effort to secure the release of these American hostages. So what we have here is an administration, quite frankly, that we're almost done. An administration, quite frankly, that I believe, this is what I believe, this is another example of why I believe they're fronting for the radical Islamists. Statistical significance, I believe. Just too much data, just too much. Circumstantial, whatever. There's a pattern. I look for patterns, inferences, trends, and I believe this is the pattern. Breaking dawn of the Trumpocrats. Okay, so the Trumpocrats are the Americans first. We come from every political party or no party at all. Every walk of life all across this country. We are Democrats, Independents, Republicans. We are teachers, technicians, cops, coal miners. We are workers. We are your neighbors. We support Donald Trump because we believe he will make this country strong again. We are disillusioned with the rigged political economic system that has left millions of Americans behind. We want good jobs again. We want our dignity back. We want to work hard support our families, and live our lives. Donald Trump is the anti politician and the only candidate that can bring real change to Washington. He will keep us safe, bring back jobs, and renegotiate bad trade deals. Donald Trump will take on the status quo and political establishment and take down Hillary Clinton. Join the American uprising now. So this is Trumpocrats PAC. That's Trumpocrats, PAC.com. Check it out. I joined it. You got to join it too. Great stuff. Now, in the Huma, now this Huma Abedin, I'm not going to go full throttle on Huma Abedin yet. So I'm going to leave it alone because I want to get more substantial data. But we know there's something there with Huma Abedin and her mother. Her mother runs that journal, the Journal of Minority Muslim Affairs. She runs the journal. She's the editor in chief, and her brother is also on it, as on the board. So according to the this is a Daily Mail thing. So I just want to wait on this on Huma Abedin. I want to get more information so I can really hit it. I like to hit it. She's 5'9". She's got body. I'm mentioning this cat, Horace Cooper. He's a lawyer from George Mason University. I want to tip my cap to this. I want to tip my cap to this cat. Okay? He was on Fox News tonight. I'm going to shout him out on the live show. He took on the liberal he took on the liberal lawyer that was there, and it was on an O'Reilly show with Eric Bowling. And basically, he called out Hillary Clinton, called her a liar. Hillary Clinton claimed that, he says Hillary Clinton's a liar because she was trying to push back on Trump, and Trump called her a bigot and all this. So she was trying to push back, and Horace Cooper claims that Hillary Clinton's a liar, and unemployment in the African American community is up huge numbers. Housing is a huge problem. Jobs is a huge problem, and healthcare is a huge problem within the African American community. And the economic problems that the African American community faces in these inner cities is horrific. Crime is up. They're getting the biggest thing is the 90% of the killings is black on black crime, and we as Americans have to face the fact that this is about not race but the human race, and whether people want to face it or not, whether whether people are fair skinned, whether people are dark skinned, light skinned, we're all human beings, and we got to figure this thing out. I'm not trying to be, idealistic and pie in the sky and everybody, kumbaya. I'm just being real. And I think that we have to look at it the right way and fix it. And I believe it starts in the education system, the flawed public school system like in New York with the UFT and the $20 billion budget and the failed system. That's me. And Trump is right. Trump is on that. Now, the Pentagon releases a report detailing Gitmo detainees' backgrounds, and I'm for what Tom Cotton said back in the day. This Gitmo detainee releasing of 1 in 3 go back, and I could give you an example. Safrin bin Kumu got released in 2007. He was in Tripoli prison, and in 2010, 2011, Gaddafi released. He had like a reconciliation attempted between his son advising him, and according to published reports, the U.S. Embassy advised him. Maybe that was a setup. I don't know. But, he released all these radicalisms on the streets, and at the time, and it's still pretty prominent that a lot of that's why Tunisia has built a wall to keep the Libyan radicalism out of Tunisia. And that's why Saudi Arabia is building a 600-foot wall to keep the radicalism out of their country from Iraq, the Iraqi border, and Kenya to keep the Somali radicalism out of their country. But we can't consider building a wall. It's ridiculous. Bin Kumu was involved in the precursor to Benghazi, the supposed fake or real coup d'etat on Gaddafi, because that whole thing was contrived by the Obama Clinton State Department with Operation Zero Footprint and the allegiance, the alliance, according to Claire Lopez and Kenneth Tillman, the allegiance, the alliance between Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and the UAE, buying weapons, materially supporting weapons and human assets in the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, and Ben Kuma was part of that. And ended up going where it was so bad that they had such control, these radical Islamists, that they're an Al-Qaeda affiliate. It was the first time, according to Claire Lopez and Kenneth Tillman, we are arming, materially supporting radical Islamists under this Obama Clinton crime family. We're giving them weapons. We're giving them human assets. We're giving them training. Is this like Karzai? What Karzai did with Karula and Iran? Is this like Musharraf from Pakistan that trained Osama bin Laden and Ayman al-Zawahiri, the Taliban in the Kashmir conflict, radical Islamists? They know them on a first name basis. And I believe Obama, Clinton, crime family knows them too on a first name basis. It's crazy stuff. The judge orders search of new Clinton emails for release by September 13th. U.S. judge ordered State Department on Thursday to release by September 13th any emails it finds between Hillary Clinton and the White House from the week of 2012 attack in Benghazi, Libya, among the thousands of additional emails uncovered by federal investigators. The order came that the FBI gave the department a disk earlier this month containing 14,900 emails to and from Clinton and other documents it said to have recovered. She did not return to the government. I don't know. This whole thing is one big ruse. That server, I can't get it out of my head, was parked outside of the purview of that state. It's a State Department server parked in the basement of a house, illegal, unapproved, Inspector General report, statistically significant. In addition, it had, according to all reports, it had amateur hour security, internet remote access. So conceivably, it was parked there to be hacked. Oh, it was hacked. Really? What? How'd that happen? FBI admits Clinton used software designed to prevent recovery and hide traces of deleted emails. BleachBit, according to Trey Gowdy, it was called. All right, I don't know much about BleachBit, but according to the Zero Hedge Fund, this Zero Hedge is a great website. You should check it out. Zero Hedge. This guy Tyler Durden. He's an interesting has an interesting website. Very interesting website. Really cool. Trey Gowdy disclosed new details about the Clinton email scandal. For those not familiar with the software, BleachBit this is what Gowdy reveals that Clinton used BleachBit to erase the personal emails from a private server. For those not familiar with the software, BleachBit is intended to help users delete files in a way to prevent recovery and hide traces of files. This is per the BleachBit website. Beyond simply deleting files, according to the BleachBit website, BleachBit includes advanced features such as shredding files to prevent recovery, wiping free disk space to hide traces of files deleted by other applications, and vacuuming Firefox to make it faster. During his appearance on Fox, Trey Gowdy clearly indicates that Clinton's use of BleachBit undermines her claims that she only deleted innocuous personal emails from her private server. Interesting. Interesting. I'm almost done. Paranoid smears of Alex Jones during conspiracy obsessed rant by Hillary Clinton claimed that Donald Trump was embracing dark conspiracy theories before going on a conspiracy theory obsessed rant in which she attacked Alex Jones, who's a tremendous broadcaster. I believe he offers the public and he does a great service for us. She claimed that Putin was a villainous mastermind behind this alt-right movement, which she calls it the KKK white supremacist movement. But she's like on the one hand she's throwing Donald Trump, claiming Trump to be a KKK, which doesn't make sense. Meanwhile, she got endorsed by Will Will Ku, let me see, let me pronounce it right. Will Quig. Will Quig endorsed her. He's a KKK leader. In addition, she was a big supporter of Robert Byrd, who was a grand wizard of the KKK. Robert Byrd, the guy that was a former U.S. senator. She was a big supporter of his, and Robert Byrd. Meanwhile, Trump is KKK. Come on, that's a lie. Yeah, Will Quig. Here's Will Quig, KKK. Here's interesting. I mean, this is the Daily Mailer, so I'm not totally saying that this is true, but this is. I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm not saying it's statistically significant, but for a conversation, like in the courtroom of American public opinion, do you believe that something like this is possible? Bill Clinton bombs Saddam to distract from Monica Lewinsky scandal. What Huma Abedin's Muslim Journal claimed about. That's the Journal of Muslim Minority Affairs. Interesting. Clinton hits roadblocks in campaign, 14,900. And then I'm going to finish off with these headlines. Pizza drones are on a go. Domino's uses drone delivery. Interesting. World's first self-driving taxis debut in Singapore. And we got a blood red moon over New York. With all this going on, this ancillary stuff, Clinton on foundation accusations, I know there's a lot of smoke and there's no fire, according to Hillary Clinton. She goes on to say, and it came out that another headline: Clinton knew her aides were working with family foundations, Judicial Watch. Harry Reid met with the Reno Gazette Journal and attacked Patti Smith, the mother of Benghazi hero Sean Smith, calling the grieving mother crazy. Sounds like Hillary Clinton, right? Obama administration won't tell Congress how it paid Iran 1.3 billion in taxpayers' funds. We mentioned that. This guy, Nigel Farage, to tell Bretsick's story at Trump rally in Mississippi. Interesting. That's the anti-establishment to take out the establishment. That's what basically is going on with Trump. Qatar buys a piece of the Empire State Building. We talked about this, how concerning that is. Abedin emails reveal Obama Clinton State Department gave access to top Clinton donors. Why am I not shocked? And we talked about Colin Powell saying that Hillary Clinton's people have been trying to pin email scandal on him. And then we got James Carville. James Carville claims that if the corrupt Clinton Foundation is shut down, if corrupt Clinton Foundation is shut down, then people are going to die. It does so much for the community. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I find that hard to believe, quite frankly. I find that really hard to believe. You know? So that's where we're at. I got the burqa. Okay, so that's pretty much it for tonight. I touched a lot tonight, and this is the Frankie Russo pre-show 131. I'm getting ready to go live in about 40 minutes or so, 35 minutes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's 800-848-9222. You can call in. Frankie Russo, yeah, yeah, yeah. You got to help America's team, help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We got to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces fight post-traumatic stress disorder. We got to do this. We got to help them. 22, all intents and purposes, all data coming out, 22 a day commit suicide. We got to help them, man. They're doing a lot for us. That's why Frankie Russo can stand up here and do what he loves to do. And that's where we're at, okay? So, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. Frusso14 at AOL.com. You got to check it out. Frankie Russo pre-show 131. See you in a few. Yeah, 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 yeah.